Hello, it's 1 p.m. Welcome to the Lunch News. My name is Karen Dodu.
I'm Nana Joa Intia Hagen.
Coming up.
Between the Council and the Presidency, we have a lot of work to do to get all the appointments in place to get the government machinery to work.
President Akufo-Addo charges newly sworn-in members of the Council of State to live up to expectations.
And later on COVID-19.
Personally, I don't think even if I'll take it immediately. When I see that maybe people are not reactive to it, then to receive it, then I'll take it.
It depends. I'll ask my parents about it.
As COVID-19 vaccines are expected in a couple of days, we ask how prepared are Ghanaians on the vaccination. But Valley View University resorts to online studies as it loses one student to COVID-19 complications.
And in African news, Senegal begins vaccination against COVID-19 amidst reluctance among citizens. All these stories and more over the next 30 minutes. You're listening to Lunch News on Asaase Radio 99.5 megahertz, bringing you the voice of our land. We're also live on our sister station, Asaase Radio in Kumasi, 123 FM in Tamale, on our affiliate, Stone City Radio in Ho, and across the globe on Asaase TV Official or Asaase News at 1. Now, Ghana will soon begin a mass vaccination exercise against the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. President Akufo-Addo in his 23rd State of the Nation address on the measures being taken to combat the disease stated that Ghana is planning to procure 17.6 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines by the end of June, with the first dose arriving in March. Currently, the country is battling a second wave of the novel coronavirus, with daily infection rates rising. So far, it has recorded over 80,000 confirmed cases and 582 deaths. The aim of the vaccine is to vaccinate the entire population with a target of 20 million people. Asaase News spoke to a section of the public to find out how ready they are for the vaccines.
Personally, I don't think even if I'll take it immediately. I'll wait and observe how people react after they have taken the vaccine, and then other effects that will be accrued with taking the vaccine before I make my decision to take it.
When it comes, I'll wait and see whether the reactions. Some people maybe are very reactive to vaccines. So when I see that maybe people are not reactive to it, then to receive it, then I'll take it. Mostly people will take maybe health line workers and those who are already infected. When they get it and they get reactions, they'll voice out and say that they are reactive to the vaccine. So through that we'll know whether to take it or not.
It depends. I'll ask my parents about it since they're educated and know more. So if they tell me that I should take it, I'll take it. Yeah, that.
Please no, because I saw most videos saying that if anyone takes the vaccine, it's going to kill them, and because of that, I won't accept the vaccine to come into Ghana.
And you heard the cross-section of the public speaking on how ready they are for the vaccines. Meanwhile, Asaase News has gathered that Valley View University in Accra has lost a student to the coronavirus. According to close sources from the school, the theology student passed on last Friday at the Ga East Hospital after he collapsed. As a result, testing was carried out on close friends of the deceased, revealing that some more students have been infected by the virus. To prevent any further spread, the school is considering online lectures for all students beginning today.
And now to other stories. President Akufo-Addo has charged the newly sworn-in members of the Council of State to live up to expectation. The council has the responsibility of counseling and advising the president on matters of national interest. They include members who are either appointed by the president, elected by institution or institutional representations, or are ex-officio members. Addressing the members at the swearing-in ceremony at the Jubilee House today, President Akufo-Addo expressed his readiness to work with the council to ensure the growth and development of the country.
Between the council and the presidency, we have a lot of work to do to get all the appointments in place to get the government machinery to work. I hope that we shall not insist on standing on ceremony, but get to work rapidly and efficiently to enable government function satisfactorily. Members of the council, you have been sworn into office at a difficult time in the history of our nation, and indeed of the world. We are confronted with the ravages of COVID-19, which have affected the livelihoods and lives of all Ghanaians. Winning the fight against the pandemic remains a collective duty and responsibility. So I appeal to you to help in this endeavor.
You heard President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo there.
Let's move to our earlier story on COVID-19 because there have been growing concerns about the vaccines that are yet to arrive in the country, and several other believers also have various misconceptions about the intake of it. While some believe that faith works, others are also attributing it to the end time as a sign of the mark of the beast. Now we have been joined on the line by the General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana, Reverend Dr. Cyril Fayose, to tell us more about these conceptions that people have about the vaccine. Reverend Fayose, grateful for your time here on the Lunch News.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So, Reverend, I'm sure you might have heard some of these views that people have linking the vaccines that we are expecting to the mark of the beast and saying that is a way for countries or governments to control people. First of all, what do you have to say to this conception out there?
Well, there are a number of conspiracy theories about how the vaccine is designed to kill people of the African race and so on. But the most potent form of the conspiracy theories is when it is linked up with religion and our beliefs and our values. But my view and position on this end-time conspiracy theories is that most of them are not really accurate. Most of them are just conspiracy theories, as I put it. I believe that science is God's way of helping humanity have a better life. So medicine is a creation of God. We cannot divorce the healing ministry in faith from the healing ministry that comes with science. They are a continuum. They are connected. So I would say that, yes, vaccines can have side effects, but they are certainly not the mark of the beast. And most of those statements that have been made I think, attempts to play down on the effectiveness of vaccines.
Reverend Fayose, so how is the church helping to educate people, particularly around this misconception about the virus?
Well, we have if I just had a meeting yesterday, the ecumenical body leadership had a meeting. And one of the things we have planned to do is have a fasting and prayer on COVID-19, a 3-day national fast and prayer for COVID-19. When it came up last year, we prayed and it subsided a bit. And it has come up this year again. So we are going to go into prayer. We're going to seek the face of the Lord. But in addition to that this time we want to add education to it. So we are going to do fasting, prayer, and education of our members on this whole vaccination issue, so that we can dispel their minds of these end-time theories that are coming up. We have a health week, the Christian Council of Ghana and the Catholic Bishops' Conference and the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Church Council. We have a health week called Christian Health Association of Ghana. They are experts, so we will invite them to come and educate us on the subject and educate the leadership, and so the pastors will take it down to our membership at the grassroots. So that is our plan. So we intend to do a lot of education, because vaccines have been around for a very long time, and for the most part, they have been quite helpful. So I don't believe in most of those end-time theories.
Reverend Fayose, before you go, the Christian Council is a very big group in the Christian fraternity, but I want us to use this platform. If you're speaking to somebody who has doubts about this vaccine, what do you have to tell the person?
If I'm speaking to someone who has what?
Who has doubts about being vaccinated against COVID-19, what would be your message to that person?
Oh, my message is that vaccination, vaccine is one of the greatest inventions of the modern era, I would say. We all know about the 6 killer diseases. Most of them have been eradicated because of vaccination. Polio is almost completely eradicated, except for 1 or 2 countries in the world, because of vaccination. And so we believe that this virus as well can be eliminated with vaccination. We are just working against time. That's why the research is not too clear on the effectiveness of the vaccines at this point, because we are working so hard. These vaccines were released very early. But I'll tell the person, hey, vaccines have been around. Many of us have been vaccinated, and that's why we are still living. And this will save us from COVID-19 as well. So we should go ahead and take it. And let's leave out the conspiracy theories. Most of those theories are linked up with particular individuals. And the vaccines we are receiving in Ghana do not even come from those countries. So I encourage them to take the vaccine until the medical experts from CHAG, Eastern Health Association of Ghana, come around to tell us that no, there's a problem with this vaccine. I will encourage you to take it.
Reverend Fayose, thank you very much for your time here on the Asaase Lunch News. And you heard the General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana, Reverend Dr. Cyril Fayose.
You're still live here on Asaase Radio, and this is the Lunch News. Let's do other stories. The Greater Accra Regional Police Command has halted an intended demonstration against the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer and intersex community here in Ghana. The demonstration was to be organized by a group calling itself Journalists Against the LGBTQI+ Community. Well, my colleague Tina Moses Sam joins us with details of that letter. Tina, good afternoon and welcome. So what does this letter say?
Okay, good afternoon, Najwa. So the letter is signed by Deputy Commissioner of Police, E.A. Sechi, to one Mr. Buamadako. I'm sure he's the leader of the Journalists Against the LGBTQ+ Ghana. So the command is telling them that though they've received the letter, they are halting the demonstration due to the restrictions imposed on the under the executive instrument, that because of the spread of the coronavirus, they don't want to organize the demonstration. So they are requesting them to stop it and then lift it when the suspension is over, before they can take over.
Yeah. So Tina, does it really say when the demonstration was supposed to happen or is supposed to happen?
Well, it didn't state when it was supposed to happen, but I think the commissioner received a letter yesterday. It was dated 22nd February 2021. But as in the day, then the intent going on the demonstration, it hasn't been stated yet.
All right. Thank you very much, my colleague Tina Moses Sam, with details of a letter by the Greater Accra Regional Police Command halting an intended demonstration against the LGBTQ+ community here in Ghana.
Now, still on matters related to security, and the Home Municipal Security Council, led by the MC Prosper Kofi Pibansa, over the weekend locked the whole Central Mosque over what they described as an anticipated clash in the Zongo community. The decision was made after some families, that's 2 families, were fighting over the leadership of the Zongo community after the demise of the then regional chief imam some 16 years ago. The following report by our correspondent Albert has more details.
One Alpha Anas, who served as the first deputy chief imam under the late Volta Regional Chief Imam Umoru Danjima Hamza, was subsequently installed to replace his predecessor. But after the successful installation, another party, Muniru Hamza, who is said to have connection with the late Chief Imam, is challenging the legitimacy of Alpha Anas. The Hamza family in last week installed their son, Murinu Hamza, as the Chief Imam, giving the whole Zongo community 2 leaders. The situation then led to a disorder at the whole Central Mosque on last Friday over who to lead prayers, after which the whole municipal police command deployed officers to calm the situation. The chamber chief judge, Sulaiha Muhammad, speaking to Asaase News, says Muniru Hamza is not recognized as their leader because
Alpha Anas is a deputy imam for Alhaji Danjuma, late Alhaji Danjuma. According to Islam tradition, if there is no imam, the deputy will take over. Imam and Danjuma, after him, all the ulamas, which is imams, our spiritual leaders, sit down and confirm Alpha Anas as imam.
On the side of the police, the acting Home Municipal Police Commander, ASP Alex Adade Yebua, said the Municipal Security Council, after a series of consultations, decided to lock the mosque, or else the development may lead to a mayhem.
Yeah, just to avert an anticipated or possible clash between the two factions and this regional imamship impasse. That is why the whole Municipal Security Council took a decision that the mosque should be put under lock.
Some of the Zongo youths are therefore appealing to the office of the National Chief Imam and the President, His Excellency Nana Addo, to intervene in the development in order to avert any possible conflict.
And now let's do other stories. And lawyers for former President John Dramani Mahama are expected to file their closing arguments in the election petition case by close of day today. This follows a motion moved by lead counsel for the side yesterday, in which he said they could not have anticipated the court's ruling against them. Mr. Chachu Chikata had argued that a review in their favor would have potentially changed the course of the case and significantly impacted the closing address. A 9-member panel of the Supreme Court judges unanimously affirmed the 7-member panel ruling that stopped Mr. Mahama from reopening his election petition case. Meanwhile, the court has set Thursday, March 4, as Judgment Day for the election petition hearing.
Now, still on matters related to election, an electoral commission says it is set to conduct the district elections for Nkranza North and Nkranza South following the expiration of the term of office of the Assembly and Unit Committee members of the two districts. The exercise, which is in accordance with the district-level elections regulations 2015 CI-89, will take place on Friday, the 16th of April 2021. In a statement released by the commission, it said it has made the nomination forms available at the district offices in the affected areas or on the website of the Electoral Commission.
Now, the National Youth Organizer for the People's National Congress, Mark Ewusi, has expressed disappointment with the apology offered by a member of the spokesperson team for the petitioner in the ongoing 2020 presidential election petition, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, describing his earlier apology as inadequate. The former Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, was found guilty of contempt after he told the media that the Supreme Court had a predetermined agenda to rule against the petitioner, former President John Dramani Mahama. He was therefore ordered by the court to apologize and retract his statement using the medium which he made the comment. Speaking on the Asaase Breakfast Show, Mark Ewusi was hopeful that the court will recall Dr. Ayeni to apologize.
But I could realize or see that what he said in the box, as I said, was not what exactly he came out to say. That if people are saying what he said was wrong, then he is apologizing. That is not an apology. If you are apologizing, do as you did in the box, not to come to the media and then tell us what you did. Is he trying to tell us that whatever he has said to the public would not be heard by the justices of the Supreme Court? In fact, what if I was the one who said this? I am not a lawyer, but Ayeni is a lawyer. And so for him to be able to say these things, I think it is uncalled for. He must be called back to render a serious apology, not what he did. Because it is going to serve as a deterrent to others who, quote unquote, would come to issue certain statements that goes against supreme interests of the state.
And that was the National Youth Organizer for the People's National Congress, Mark Ewusi.
You're still listening to the Lunch News here on Asaase Radio, and the Minister-designate for Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Apinadapa, is encouraging Ghanaians to join the fight against illegal mining. The minister nominee, who manned the ministry for the past 4 years, told Parliament's Appointment Committee, due to her vetting earlier this morning, that although Ghana's water security is assured, much needs to be done to ensure water security for the future generation. She admits that menace of illegal mining poses a threat to the country's water security through the introduction of contaminants into the country's water bodies.
Ghana is well endowed with surface water. We have 53.2 billion cubic meters of water, and we are using only 14%. Out of the 14, we have 68% for irrigation, 10% for domestic use, and 10% for industrial use. The rest is scattered amongst other uses. God has given us this natural commodity, or very essential commodity. It's our duty to take care of it. We are secure, but we need to preserve it for the next generations.
Pursuant to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 6, which ensures availability of potable water to all, the minister during her tenure undertook numerous water projects in various parts of the country in that regard.
We have the Yendi water intervention, we have the Tamale water, we have the Damango water, we have the Sunyani water, Keita water. In fact, Jay Kojo in the Honorable Giselle's constituency, we just commissioned the water there. That water had 23 systems that were put in place, and we have 145 communities that benefited. We have the 5-district water, we had the salt in Adapu, and we have others too on board. And most importantly, we have the Aqua Africa water, which the salt cutting was done by my humble self, and that will take care of the Honorable Chairman's constituency as well. So Tamale is catered for huge projects.
And that was Minister-designate for Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Apinadapa.
Now, the Nadole Kaleo District Assembly in the Upper West region has constructed and handed over a 6-unit classroom block with a staff common room and a head teacher's office to the Tepo Day Senior High School in Tepo to aid teaching and learning. The facility is the first of its kind to be constructed on the school's campus since it took over by government in 2014. Our Upper West regional correspondent Munir Ibrahim was at the handing over ceremony and has come through with this report.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Before the construction and handing over of the 6-unit classroom block to the Tepo Senior High School, the students were using an old elementary school block, which is now a death trap to the students and teachers. VIX has affected the enrollment numbers of the school. Anytime students are admitted, they refuse because of the lack of befitting classrooms. In her remarks during the handing over of the facility, the DCE, Catherine T. Lankano, promises the chief and students of providing more infrastructure to enable the school attain boarding status.
I want to stand here and assure the people of Tepo that if we so are privileged to have the grace of life, we will make sure that Tepo Senior High School gets more facilities to get a boarding status.
According to the headmaster of the school, Isaiah Zoyel, the 6-unit classroom block is the first infrastructure to have been provided since the government of Ghana took over the school in 2014.
Today actually is a very happy day in our lives because it's a day we've been looking forward to. Tepo Senior High School was started in 2010 as a private community day school. Then in 2014, the takeover was complete. And ever since the takeover, our ways that this gathering visit our site to see what is there. We are squatting in some small old elementary school, primary school premises. So this building that came to the school was one of the best things that has ever happened to us so far.
Students who could not hide their joy applauded the Nadole Kelo District Assembly for the kind gesture. The students say they are always troubled during the winter because they have no appropriate classrooms to aid teaching.
And that was our Upper West Regional Correspondent Munir Ibrahim with that report. Now time for sports, and Benedict Usu has the details.
Yes, good afternoon. Now, Black Satellite coach Karim Zito has denied reports suggesting their 2-1 defeat to Gambia at the ongoing Africa Under-20 Championship was a fixed match. Well, Ghana, after beating Tanzania in their opening game and drawing against tournament favourite Morocco, were tipped to beat Gambia last night. But even with 10 men, Gambia managed to win their last group game, which of course ensured their progress to the next stage of the competition. Well, many have raised questions, with some even saying the game was fixed. Coach Karim Zito was asked this what he had to say.
It's never an arranged match. We're beating. Girl, I know. We're beating. No. Seriously, we're beating. I've not even thought about that. We're beating. And then I think yesterday I told you, this is a match both countries want to win. You understand me? And we lost. As a coach, you have to understand and take your defeat in good faith. And then when you get the opportunity again, you do amendments. So it wasn't a fixed match. It's a good match we played. We saw we're playing. We want to score. They also want to defend. They don't want us to beat them. So I don't think it's far from what you are thinking. We have accepted we're beaten. That's all.
So that was Black Satellite coach Karim Zito speaking there. Well, despite the team losing, they managed to make the next stage of the competition as one of the third best placed teams, and will come up against Cameroon on Thursday in a quarter-final fixture. Elsewhere, the UEFA Champions League is back tonight, with the defending champions Bayern Munich away to Lazio in the first leg of the round of 16 tie, and Chelsea are also in Spain to face Atletico Madrid. And that's your sport.
Thank you very much, Benedict Owusu there with sports. And now to some news elsewhere on the continent. The authorities in Senegal have said fighting misinformation and COVID-19 vaccination reluctance will be key in the campaign launched on Tuesday. Senegal's Health Minister Adebayo Diop Sarr was first in line to be vaccinated and said he wanted to serve as an example and reassure the public on the safety of the vaccines. The country purchased its first 200,000 doses from the Chinese Sinopharm. Frontline health workers and vulnerable groups will be prioritized in the vaccination across different parts of the country. Health experts say the challenge of identifying people with underlying health conditions must be tackled quickly, especially since medical records are not necessarily digitized. To overcome this difficulty, the government has launched an online registration form with priority criteria to be assessed for any person registered before the vaccination.
And in South Africa, a corruption case against ex-President Jacob Zuma and French defense company Thales over a $2 billion state arms deal will start in May. Mr. Zuma faces 16 charges, including fraud, racketeering and money laundering, all of which he denies. Mr. Zuma is accused of illegally accepting annual payments from Thales after the weapons deal took place in 1999. Mr. Zuma became South Africa's deputy president in 1999 and president a decade later. His financial advisor, Shabir Sheikh, was found guilty of trying to solicit bribes on his behalf from the French arms firm and was jailed in 2005. And that'll be all for the lunch news. A recap of our headlines.
President Akufo-Addo charges newly sworn-in members of the Council of States to live up to expectation.
Valley View University resorts to online studies as it loses students to COVID-19 complications. Many thanks for your time this morning on AsaseRadio.com. My name is Karen Dodu.
And I am Nanajwa Intia Hagen.
Good afternoon.